matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. This will be the 5th time that these two teams are seeing one another this season. So you heard it from Coach Stephanie White. They were using the West Coast trip to evaluate Caitlin Clark and see, I guess, if she would be able to come back. But all that we have been hearing is that she is coming back. And the two biggest superstars will once again not be playing. So that's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You will see neither of them on the court tomorrow night. And there are so many stories that are currently unfolding around these two.
Angel Reese just picked up her 8th technical foul, and now she's suspended for the highly anticipated matchup against Indiana. But here's the twist. This isn't just about missing one game. It's about how the WNBA's entire rivalry push between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is collapsing in real time. The league wanted a drama-fueled showdown, but what we're getting looks more like a soap opera than basketball.
Angel Reese will also not be playing, but it's not because of an injury. It is because Angel Reese racked up her 8th technical in her last game against the Connecticut Sun, and so now she is suspended for a game. It feels like a frustration play. You can see how hard she got boxed out, and then she just kind of whipped around, and then she whipped with her other hand. They went to the scores table, reviewed this, they called it a technical foul, and that's her 8th on the season, so she just won't be playing. So as you can see, the shot goes up. Aaliyah Edwards is boxing out Angel Reese, and she kind of smacks her across the side of the head. And then if you look from this angle here, she gets box out, she hits her with one arm on one side of the head and then comes back and swings with the other arm.
So how did a single slap and some blunt locker room comments unravel the league's biggest marketing play? Let's piece it together. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Here's the thing. This suspension didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Angel Reese had been building a trail of technical fouls all season, and by the time she hit her 8th, there was no more wiggle room left. The league couldn't look the other way anymore.
But it honestly hasn't been the greatest week for Angel Reese because she did an interview where she talked about all things Chicago Sky, but there was a couple things that she said in the interview that truly rubbed her teammates and her coach the wrong way. And according to the Tribune, Reese believes that the team needs to be overhauled this season around just 2 solidified pieces on the 2026 roster, herself and Camila Cardoso. It was kind of a firestorm yesterday on social media. One of the things that was mentioned in the report is that Reese said that she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team.
Think about it like this. The WNBA had a spotlight right on her because she was one of the faces they were counting on to draw in new fans. But every technical kept pushing her closer to a wall she was eventually going to crash into. That 8th whistle wasn't just another stat line. It was the point where officials had to say, enough is enough. And here's where the tension really starts to build. While her star power was rising, selling jerseys and pulling national attention, inside the Chicago Sky locker room, things weren't lining up. Imagine the contrast. You have billboards and highlight clips across social feeds pumping Reese up, while at the same time teammates are whispering about whether this spotlight is actually tearing them apart. It's jarring because usually when a young player is blowing up like she has, the locker room energy is buzzing. But instead, every new foul or sideline outburst felt like another match near a pile of gasoline. The moment that blew everything up was that slap against Aaliyah Edwards. You've probably seen the clip. Reese swings her arm, makes contact right across Edwards' face, and the slow-motion replays made it look even sharper than it probably was in real time.
She said, "I'm not settling for the same crap we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. However I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason." Those are sometimes just sentiments that you just don't say publicly. And her teammates unfortunately saw this. The coaching staff saw this. I'd like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me.
Fans weren't calling it just a slap. They were calling it the pimp slap. And almost overnight, that label became the way people talked about it. It's one thing to get hit in a game. It happens all the time. But it's completely different when the reaction goes viral. And that's what Edwards gave everyone. She leaned into the contact, snapped her head back, and hit the ground like she'd just taken the blow of the year. Online fans immediately started joking that it was Oscar-worthy. Memes popped up with movie awards and people editing her face into dramatic stage scenes. That reaction is what caused the play to explode beyond basketball fans. It wasn't just a foul call anymore. It was a viral moment that made Reese the center of a bigger conversation she probably didn't want.
And then it was reported, multiple league sources told Front Office Sports the entire team has seen Reese's comments and the teammates are unhappy with the direct attacks. A team meeting is planned at which players are expected to address Reese directly. She said, "I don't think I'm frustrated with my team/organization. I think I'm frustrated with myself. I didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates. They showed up for me through thick and thin. I want to apologize to my teammates. I already have. I just have to be better with my language." Now, Angel Reese, since all of that, she has apologized. She has taken some accountability. And the last thing that I will read for you guys is her apology.
Then just when you thought that clip was going to be the main controversy, Reese went into the locker room and made things worse. She had comments pointed at teammates Rachel Banham and Haley Van Leith, and it didn't land as some motivational push. The way people close to the team described it, it came off like criticism aimed at players who were already struggling to find their place. In other words, your top star, the same one leading the team in headlines, ends up making her own teammates feel like targets. That's a recipe for a divided locker room real quick. Ariel Atkins put it into perspective when she said, "The crown is heavy." And the truth is, Reese is finding that weight crashing down faster than anyone expected. Still early in her pro career, she went from being hyped as the next big personality in the league to being asked to lead a team that can't seem to win. That's not easy for a veteran, let alone a rookie trying to manage the shadow of this new league rivalry. And that's the bottom line here. Look at the Sky's record, 9-30. That's not a playoff push. That's a season buried under drama, technical fouls, and sideline chatter that overshadows almost everything happening on the scoreboard. Fans aren't talking about Chicago sets or defensive breakdowns. They're talking about one player and the chaos following her around. So this isn't really about one slap or one set of comments. This is about what happens when the league bets its marketing plan on a player who's spiraling right in front of everyone. Angel Reese is in the middle of a meltdown that has nothing to do with her skill and everything to do with pressure, image, and rivalry. And with that context hanging over the Sky, the real question isn't about inside the locker room anymore. It's about what this means for the WNBA and its major storyline built on the Reese versus Clark feud. Angel Reese wanted the crown, the spotlight, the role of being the face of a brand new rivalry. But right now, that crown looks more like a burden. Every technical, every locker room conflict, it weighs heavier than the highlight reels that got her there in the first place. And here's the real problem. Until she figures out that balance between performance and leadership, the Reese versus Clark showdown is living more in headlines than on the court. So what do you think? Has this rivalry already burned out, or does it still have a future once both stars are back?